Well, let's take a look then at this morning's front pages, which, of course, as you can imagine, dominated by the Queen's funeral, starting then with The Guardian, which shows the coffin with the headline, "The Final Farewell." The same picture is on the front page of the Mirror with the words, "Until we meet again." And Express also carries the image and says simply, "God rest our Queen." The FT shows King Charles and other members of the royal family following the coffin out of Westminster Abbey. On the front page of the Metro, we see a full-page picture of the funeral cortege making its way to Windsor. The procession moving down the long walk outside Windsor Castle is on the front page of The Sun, while The Times has a photo of the coffin being carried into St George's Chapel. Now, the Mail shows the Queen's coffin being lowered into the royal vault, describing it as her final journey. The Star simply reports that the Queen has been laid to rest behind her husband, Prince Philip. While the Eye says the funeral marks the end of the Elizabethan Age. And then finally, the Telegraph describes the day as an outpouring of love as the royal family and the nation come together to say farewell. And if you want to see any of those front pages again or read the stories, just scan the QR code, which is on your screen now.
Looking through the papers here this morning, they're here, and there are some stunning images, aren't there? The front page is just recapturing that moment of history.
I mean, the likes of which we're probably unlikely to see again in our lifetime, aren't they? Let's have a look then. All of the front pages, of course, dedicated to the funeral of Queen Elizabeth II. An outpouring of love. That's the headline in the Telegraph. The front page has a picture of the King placing the colours of the Grenadier Guards on his mother's coffin.
The Guardian's front page, their headline is "The Final Farewell." And that picture shows the late monarch's coffin being carried by pallbearers. They did a tremendous job, didn't they, yesterday? Adorned with those flowers, which told their own story, I think, chosen because of their various connections to the Queen. And the imperial state crown, of course, and the sovereign's orb and sceptre on top.
The Eye describes the day as representing the end of an Elizabethan age, as hundreds of thousands of people line the route from Westminster to Windsor to say thank you and goodbye.
And the Mirror has a very simple front page, just that single picture again with the words, "Until we meet again."
Lots of people yesterday talking about those who were carrying the coffin and that massive responsibility for those young men. Incredible. And you were down there.
Yeah.
What's it been like to be in London over the past week or so?
It's been a privilege. It's been remarkable. It's been extraordinary. We've spoken to thousands of people on breakfast, and it's been a moment, hasn't it? It's just a moment that we'll always remember. I think what struck me is how surprised a lot of people in the crowds felt.
About how they felt.
About how they felt. And, people were saying, if you'd asked me a couple of weeks ago how I might react to this moment, I would have never expected that I would feel this way. I would never have expected I would have come to London or Edinburgh and queued for hours to file in line past the coffin. But, it had kind of taken them by surprise.
Yeah, their own emotion.
Yeah.
We were here watching it from Salford, and for me, the thing that I'll remember is the queue. Charlie was live there on Thursday morning. We were all sitting watching. At that point, it was 5 hours long, and then it grew and grew, and it became less about the destination of seeing the coffin and about those shared experiences while people were waiting, and that commitment and the new friendships I found incredibly moving. And then yesterday, I think for lots of people, it just got real. Yeah. I think if you've had to organise a funeral in your family or your friendship group, that period between the death and the burial, you're so busy, and then all of a sudden the funeral comes and there's that immense sadness. And I feel like a lot of people felt that yesterday.
Yeah. And I think what we were saying earlier is about those connections as well, that, everybody, wherever you were, whether you're in London or Edinburgh or Windsor, but whether you were just at home, everybody knows somebody who's had a letter from the Queen or who's saw the Queen in a procession 10, 20, 50 years ago. Everybody feels that they, whatever their views of monarchy, feels that they have kind of some connection with her.
And lots of people who say, I don't necessarily believe in the monarchy, but she was special.
Yeah, definitely. We heard that a lot.